So in this case, the value stream pointed us towards a single hotspot, and we're going to dig a little bit deeper to find out what we can do about that. So in this case, we highlighted the environment setup step. And it turns out that the reason why that takes so long and there's such a delay on either side is that the entire value stream depends on many different things, right? It's not a fully autonomous team. I'm sure none of us work on fully autonomous teams. They're very rare. So this entire value stream depends on many, many different things. We could map everything, but what we care about is the hotspot, right? So we can save a lot of time and analysis by just focusing on the dependencies that are directly connected to our bottleneck. So in this case, environment setup is actually handled by our infrastructure team, which means we now know what to do about this. We can bring them the map and we can have a constructive conversation about what can we do about this bottleneck. It's our biggest constraint. It's taking up 45% of our total lead time. Is there anything that you can do to help us out? So instead of looking at everything, we're looking at the most valuable dependency, the most critical dependency. And we've now crafted a strategy to go and tackle this bottleneck, or we have clear next steps. And our clear next steps bring us to Ludo, our director of infrastructure, who we probably should have included in our mapping session from the beginning, but we didn't really know where it would lead us. So now that it's led us to Ludo, we're going to have a conversation. Ludo is responsible for environment management. As you can see, this doesn't exactly instill him with a lot of ease and comfort and confidence, because environment management is incredibly complex in our organization. We like to do a lot of things ourselves. We used to have an engineer who built out a bunch of stuff and then left. There could be any number of reasons why environment management is horrifying. But as a result, Ludo is always swamped. He's always being interrupted because he needs to be involved in every change to the environment, everything environment related. And he's got a bunch of long-running projects of his own that he's constantly trying to juggle, right? So he doesn't really have an opportunity to do a good job at anything because he's pulled in all these different directions. There's multiple product teams with multiple environments. And so this situation is not a good time. So what he basically has to do is try and ignore every request that comes to his team, or else he would have no time to do anything, right? So this doesn't really lend itself to increased velocity, right? What's happening is we are trying to go faster as a business, which means we're trying to go faster in product development, and infrastructure can't go faster. And this infrastructure situation is not rare. It happens all over the place because we have lots of organizations with shared services managing infrastructure, and they deal with a number of different chronic problems that really impact their ability to deliver positive outcomes and really respond to customer demands, the customers inside the organization that depend on them, the product teams. So they're constantly fighting fires and grappling with all of these challenges. So what can we actually do about that? So if we dig into this environment setup and we look at what's actually involved in this, we can see that we have updating environments as a step in the process. We have creation or recreation of pods in our infrastructure. We have to stand up data, and then we have to test everything to make sure that the environments are properly set up. So what we're doing is we're using the same value stream mapping techniques to go and dig deeper into the problem and diagnose this problem with the infrastructure team. So what this is demonstrating is that we can map at any level. We can map at the very highest level of the organization, the very lowest granular activity in the organization, and anything in between. So whatever level you want to look at, you can map according to that scale, according to that Zoom level, and you can connect all these things together. So you could say, if I want to dig into environment setup, what's involved in that? And you can explode that and break that out and look at all the steps in the activity there and find out what part of that is taking up the most space or time. So we can address all these constraints within this sub process of infrastructure management. And my team of product development can go and help out the infrastructure team with some simple programming that we honestly do a little bit better than the infrastructure folks, because my engineers write pretty sophisticated code on a regular basis, and our infrastructure team is frankly not at the same level. So by jumping in and understanding where their constraints are, we were able to introduce some simple testing, some simple scripting that really helped us minimize the time spent on each of these individual activities, automate a few things that were happening manually. And as a result, we've now reduced the total lead time of our product development process by 35%. And that gets us 3/4 of the way to our outcome in a single day of investment. We've also built a stronger relationship with the infrastructure team as a result. We're now collaborating in a true sense, and getting positive outcomes, not only for my product team, but every product team in the organization, because they all have environments set up as a part of their process. So you can start to see some of the return on investment that you can get from this easy, not time-consuming effort of mapping. You don't have to build anything to do this other than a few Post-it notes on a board.